updates of teens in crisis on the next Montel.
The rush is on to get the last holdouts out of New Orleans and away from the bacteria-infested floodwaters as the first disease-related deaths are reported in the hurricane zone. And the government warns the disaster will have a significant impact on the U.S. economy and your heating bill. Good evening, I'm Bob Schieffer. John Roberts in New Orleans is again heading up our coverage of the devastation on the Gulf Coast.
Tonight, police are going to every house here and telling people they have to leave. Evacuees are trying to adjust to a very different world, very far from home. And hurricane victims are finding new ways to reach out and find lost relatives.
This is the CBS Evening News with Bob Schieffer.
There are still about 10,000 people left in New Orleans, and Dr. Julie Gerberding, the head of the National Centers for Disease Control, told them today they must get out. She spoke after the first government tests confirmed that floodwater bacteria from sewage are now 10 times higher than acceptable safety levels. 4 people in the disaster zone are now believed dead because of bacteria in the water. And the danger now is from E. coli germs, certain viruses, and cholera-like bacteria common in warm Gulf Coast waters. Again tonight, we have CBS News correspondents, producers, and photographers spread across the region and at evacuee centers across the country. We start in New Orleans with John Roberts. John?
Good evening, Bob. Officials here are very serious about this. There is an extreme health danger in this city, a sea of water so polluted and toxic that rescue workers decontaminate themselves after every mission. They want everybody out, and right now.
National Guard, anybody home?
Rescuers stepped up the pace to reach the remaining survivors today, going house to house to get the holdouts to come in.
Police, anybody in there?
It's not a forced evacuation yet, even in the floodwaters. But city officials, already stretched beyond limits, don't have the resources to look after people so isolated. And they fear, with each passing day, health and safety becomes a greater concern.
This city's like a big boat, and that sun is just baking a great big hole every day.
This is one reason why local authorities are so anxious to get the remaining survivors out of the floodwaters. There are gas fires all over these neighborhoods, oil and gasoline on top of the water. It all adds to the sense of urgency to complete the evacuation. But it's a hard sell for many people. Rick Matthew and his friends are toughing it out. They call themselves the Soul Patrol, clearing homes, helping with rescues. They know the streets, the residents, can reason with them to go. But they complain about the aggressive tactics of some out-of-state forces who've joined in the evacuation effort.
They came at gunpoint, told them, if you come out the house with a gun, we'll shoot you. Get in the boat now. You don't have no results but to get in now. And they made them leave, and they took them out.
We heard the same complaint today from Mama D, a local activist looking out for the neighborhood.
They will, all right, give up the dope and the guns.
Give up the dope and the guns?
Yes. Like that's what we riding around doing. And then they pissed me off, baby. Why was the assumption that every black person they saw was a criminal? That's the point I want to deal with.
No question, most of the rescuers are kind and respectful. Like these two from South Carolina we found evacuating people from an overwhelmed church.
Hey, you can't live here with that baby like this.
And there certainly are threats out there. Police today stormed an apartment complex looking for a sniper. But for diehards like Mama D, sticking it out has now become a point of pride. And she insists no matter how many boats, helicopters, or armed men come by, she's not leaving.
Look in my eyes. I will die. I will die before I leave this place.
And she means it. While the death toll here in New Orleans is still unknown, a Louisiana congressman said today more than 100 people died while waiting to be rescued at a warehouse along one of the city's docks. And then there's what happened to a group of nursing home residents just 8 miles from downtown. Lee Cowan reports on a decision that led to tragedy.
FEMA asked us not to show how its crews removed bodies out of this nursing home, but suffices to say it was horrific. What happened here at St. Rita's nursing home has been described as a mistake. What an understatement. Long before the storm hit, physician Byron Bertucci offered the owner of this home help in evacuating its residents.
I said, I have 2 buses to take you with 2 drivers anywhere that you want. She said that she had spoken with the families and it was okay for them. They had agreed that it was okay to stay here.
2 hours later, though, she changed her mind. But the storm was moving in, and by then, the buses were busy helping others. They pleaded for help. Aaron Broussard, the president of nearby Jefferson Parish, had a colleague whose mother was in that nursing home. He promised her over and over again that help was on the way.
Somebody's coming to get you on Tuesday. Somebody's coming to get you on Wednesday. Somebody's coming to get you on Thursday. Somebody's coming to get you on Friday. And she drowned it Friday night.
That point of no return passed, and after that, there was nothing we could do. And the results are obvious.
At least 32 sick and elderly patients were trapped in the rising waters. Their bodies have been floating near their wheelchairs and hospital beds for more than a week now.
They were offered help. They turned it down.
Why?
That's something you'll have to ask the people. It's sad somebody made a bad decision.
The owner of that home who made the bad decision is believed to be among the victims. Her final hours and those of her residents must have been truly horrifying, and all of it could have been prevented by a simple bus ride. Lee Cowan, CBS News, Merrill, Louisiana.
The disaster here is also affecting the health of the U.S. economy. A government report out today predicts Katrina could cut economic growth in the second half of this year as much as a full percentage point, and 400,000 people could lose their jobs. Byron Pitts reports tonight many already have.
This is how we're living these days.
The family pickup, car, 3 kids, and a few clothes. That's virtually all Ken and Carla Griffin have left. Like a lot of survivors, the Griffins thought their troubles were over when Hurricane Katrina passed. They were wrong.
Then I came straight back to work, and that's when they told me I was fired.
With floodwaters rising in New Orleans, his family evacuated, all their lives in limbo. Ken Griffin wanted time off to check on his family, but was told keep working or lose your job at the drainage company.
And I don't think your job is worth more than your family.
These days in New Orleans, a job, any job, is hard to come by in a city without electricity or running water. Thousands of people aren't just homeless, they're unemployed. Keith and Yvonne St. Pierre feel fortunate.
They need us working, so.
Keith's in construction, one of the few industries here in demand.
He'll have great job security.
A lot of bridges to be repaired and construction work, so we'll be in good shape.
Security.
Still, the St. Pierres must move out of their house in New Orleans and take their 2 boys to a 1-bedroom apartment in Baton Rouge, provided by his company. For now, the best employee packages are provided by major corporations in New Orleans like Sheraton Hotel. Ryan Labatt gets to keep his job, while his family can live and eat at any Starwoods Resort and Hotel for free for 30 days.
So I think I saw my roof on the news, but the house is still underwater.
Really? But you seem in good spirits about it.
Got to make the best of the bad situation. I still have a job so far, so things are good.
As for the Griffin family, they have no job, no home, and no place to go. For many in this region, it's a familiar road and a crowded one. Byron Pitts, CBS News, New Orleans.
There are so many questions that so many people have and so few answers. Bob?
John, how long before they actually start forcing these people out? They're coaxing them, but they haven't actually moved them out at gunpoint, as I understand it, yet.
Well, they're pretty urgently coaxing them at this point, but the mayor has said it's still just a mandatory evacuation, but he says if the mandatory evacuation and the coaxing can't get people out, he will start to force them out of their homes. And judging by the tenacity of some of the people that we met today, Bob, if they start doing that, it could get ugly.
All right. Well, thank you very much, John. Perhaps no story better illustrates the confusion and the federal fumbling that marked the early rescue effort than the story the New York Times broke about 2 Navy helicopter pilots today, Lieutenants Matt Udkow and David Shand, who flew a supply mission into the disaster area and wound up rescuing 110 people, including children and 2 blind people from rooftops in other isolated areas. But instead of being congratulated when they returned to their Florida base, they were chided for not returning immediately. The Navy denied they were reprimanded, but a spokesman said they were counseled that logistics are just as important as search and rescue, and he said, quote, they now realize that. Coming up next, FEMA under fire. What went wrong at the Disaster Relief Agency? The answer may be politics. That's tonight's Inside Story. But first, CBS News honors fallen heroes Kenneth Shaw. He was a top golfer in high school who could drive a ball more than 350 yards. After 9/11, he left college to join the Army and hoped to become a Ranger like his role model, Pat Tillman. Shaw made sergeant in just 18 months. Killed in a Humvee accident, he carried a dog tag with this Bible verse, "Be strong and courageous."
Cholesterol comes from two sources. It's not only from that foot-long Frank, but from your Grandpa Frank. And not just from that Virginia ham, but from your Aunt Ginny, too. Your cholesterol doesn't just come from food. It also has a lot to do with family history. Ask your doctor about Vytorin. A healthy diet is important, but when it's not enough, adding Vytorin can help. Vytorin treats the two sources of cholesterol, food and what your body makes naturally based on family history. Vytorin was proven in clinical studies to lower bad cholesterol more than Lipitor alone. Vytorin is not for everyone, including people with liver problems, women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Unexplained muscle pain or weakness could be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. Vytorin may interact with other medicines or certain foods, increasing your risk of getting this serious side effect. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. Follow a healthy diet and ask your doctor about adding Vytorin. For the two sources of cholesterol, remember the name Vytorin. That's Vytorin.
Cosmetic procedures? Why bother? For you, there's Olay Regenerist. Significant skin improvement. Women who use Regenerist may find they've lost interest in cosmetic procedures.
Those Buffalo are beautiful this time of year.
Oh, this just in. Huge crowds at the Ace Hardware sale. Bob, I think he went to the sale.
The Ace Helpful Hardware Day sale. Save 25% on Ace brand tools that fit inside this Ace toolbox for $4.99. Sale starts Friday.
Work on that left hand.
Thanks for the jest, Mom.
Simple, everyday moments can be the perfect time to talk to your kids about not smoking, so you don't have to plan a big discussion.
Look, there's a dragonfly in one of the little houses.
Just your leg?
A little moment will do just fine. Talk to your kids about not smoking.
Smoking cigarettes can hurt your game too.
They'll listen.
Don't worry, Dad. I won't.
For conversation starters, log on to philipmorrisusa.com.
If you ran a drug company, what would you change?
I would try to prevent disease, not just treat it.
I would go after the really tough diseases.
I'd make it so folks wouldn't have to choose between their groceries and their medicine.
At Merck, we believe in the same things you do. Because 50 years ago, George Merck told us to put patients first by creating novel medicines and vaccines and getting them to the people who need them.
I would try to see everything through the eyes of a patient.
Merck, where patients come first.
The criticism just keeps coming for the federal government for its handling of Hurricane Katrina, and one of the main targets is Michael Brown, the head of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA. The top Democrat in the House called again today for his resignation. Does he deserve all the blame he's getting? Gloria Borger now with the inside story.
In grading the job FEMA Director Michael Brown is doing, it's hard to find anyone echoing the president's assessment.
And Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job.
When I said to the president that he should fire Michael Brown, he said, why would I do that? I said, because of all that went wrong, with all that didn't go right last week. And he said, what didn't go right? Oblivious, in denial, dangerous.
FEMA Director Michael Brown is a marked man with more and more calls for his resignation.
Our federal government can't be incompetent and stupid all at one time.
Documents show that Brown waited hours after the hurricane hit to request just 1,000 FEMA personnel to arrive within 48 hours and 2,000 in a week. Part of their role? To convey a positive image of disaster operations. CBS's Harry Smith spoke with Brown on The Early Show.
Did you screw this up? No.
If in the end there's an investigation and they say this wasn't done right, who's accountable?
Well, that's what the investigation will find out.
CBS News has obtained a letter sent to Capitol Hill a year ago warning that FEMA itself had become a disaster. According to the agency's union chief, politics had taken over. The ability of FEMA to manage emergencies and disasters is being seriously eroded. Staff are being systematically replaced by politically connected novices. Brown himself ran horse shows before moving to FEMA, and top staffers have more political connections than disaster management experience. There are larger questions. Did Washington create its own problem, downgrading FEMA by taking away its cabinet-level status and putting it under the Department of Homeland Security, and then cutting its budget? And just a month ago, state emergency coordinators warned Congress that the Department of Homeland Security's focus on terrorism was undermining its ability to cope with natural disasters, Bob.
Gloria, when are we going to see some of these investigations get underway? There were a lot of them announced yesterday.
Yeah, you're going to see them get underway pretty quickly. The Senate Majority Leader Bill Frist announced that there's going to be a bipartisan investigation, but I still bet, Bob, that you are going to see a separate blue ribbon panel look into this disaster, much like the 9/11 Commission, because the Congress in this case would be investigating itself, and that's tough to do.
All right. Thank you very much, Gloria. If you think you're paying a lot for gasoline after Katrina, wait till you get your heating bill this winter, especially if you heat with natural gas. The Energy Department predicted today that natural gas bills in some parts of the country could be as much as 71% higher than last winter. Just ahead tonight, call it culture shock. They thought they were going next to Texas, but 600 evacuees ended up in Utah. How they're doing is next.
If you're a woman like me, you'd be smart to ask your doctor about prescription Actonel. A-C-T-O-N-E-L. Act now and fight back with Actonel.
Nature fanatic, health nut. Grape nuts eaters have been called many things. Fortunately, they haven't heard a word of it. The unique nutty crunch and delicious taste of grape nuts. Live life your own way.
It's frustrating. Just when you're ready to relax, that's when it happens. The urge to move, along with uncomfortable sensations in your legs. They're hard to describe, but they can even keep you from getting to sleep. You feel the urgent need to get up and move, just to get some relief. There's a name for it, restless leg syndrome. And if you have it, you're among the nearly 1 in 10 U.S. adults who do. Want to know more? Visit restlesslegs.com or talk to your doctor.
Introducing the new Brita AquaView, the only filter with a window that lets you see what it takes out of your tap water. One AquaView filter lasts up to 4 months, eliminating 95% of lead, sediment, and chlorine taste from your tap water, day after day after day. It takes out what you don't want to take in. See the difference? The new Brita AquaView, just $39.99 for cleaner water every day. Brita, just add water.
If you have indoor or outdoor allergies, ask your doctor about something different. Singulair. While many allergy medicines block histamine, Singulair works differently by blocking leukotrienes, an underlying cause of allergy symptoms. And Singulair is now approved to help relieve both indoor and outdoor allergy symptoms for a full 24 hours. Side effects are generally mild and vary by age and may include headache, ear infection, sore throat, and upper respiratory infection. Singulair, a different way to treat indoor and outdoor allergy.
Wake up early in Caracas to Alaska. We put our masks on and welcome the dawn. We call the Huskies and collide into their fur, fragrant in the overcast. Don't be a bitter man, it could be worse for a slave in Belarus or not in Japan.
Find what you want for your yard, kitchen, TV, laundry, book. On sale. The 13-hour sale. This Saturday only. At Sears.
In Washington today, President Bush and members of the Supreme Court attended the funeral for Chief Justice William Rehnquist at St. Matthew's Cathedral. The president called Rehnquist a man of integrity. His son said the Chief Justice always balanced work and family. No one smelled more roses than my dad, he said. Rehnquist was laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery. An American civilian kidnapped in Iraq 10 months ago was rescued today. Roy Hallams had last been seen in January, shown in a video with a rifle aimed at his head. Acting today on a tip, U.S. military raiders found him bound and gagged, but in good condition. The kidnappers fled without a fight. Back in this country, the Postal Service has been trying to deliver mail to the huge numbers of Gulf Coast residents who've been relocated, and it's not easy, especially when the post office says it can't find 2,000 of its own workers. In some cases, the evacuees are not only being relocated far from home, but to places they never expected to be. Here's John Blackstone.
In the shadow of Utah's Wasatch Mountains, nearly 600 Katrina evacuees are in a place so different they can barely believe it.
And what about when you saw those mountains? I thought it was fake.
Charles Burnett, 39 years old, had never been on an airplane until he boarded the evacuation flight.
And when we got off the plane, I cried. I really did.
The evacuees thought they were going to Texas.
Everything changed when we got on the plane. They said there had been a change of itinerary. You'll be going to Utah.
With that, hundreds of African-American Baptists found themselves in a state that is overwhelmingly white and Mormon.
I'm a member of the LDS Church, the Mormons.
Yeah. Within hours, Debbie McKay's church was collecting whatever was needed by Chinita chairs and dozens of others.
What does that feel like?
It's overwhelming. I've been crying all day. I've been crying all day.
Chinita Chairs is getting help with a job and a permanent place for her family to live. She's one of many who want to make Utah their new home.
We got to make history here with African Americans. We need a few more in Utah.
While growing populations of Hispanics and Asians have made Utah more diverse, African Americans here remain less than 1% of the population, perhaps more a novelty than a minority. Baptist pastor France Davis, a Utah resident for 34 years, led a service that made many feel at home. But he says culture shock is unavoidable.
Visitors' hospitality is always one thing, but residential hospitality is another.
For many evacuees, however, a place that is high and dry seems close to heaven. John Blackstone, CBS News, Camp Williams, Utah.
And still to come, you'll meet some people who went high-tech to locate the missing and to help others and hurricane victims.
The spirit of giving. Americans have reacted to the hurricane disaster by opening their hearts, their homes, and their pocketbooks. Just how generous have they been? Wait till you see. Tomorrow, team coverage of the devastation in the Gulf continues on the CBS Evening News with Bob Schieffer. Experience you can trust.
Why wait? Why wait? Osteoporosis, easy to ignore, but it could be there, even if you don't look, feel, or act your age. Fortunately, you can do something about it. Bone loss can be reversed. Fosamax is a hormone-free tablet for postmenopausal women at risk for or with osteoporosis. In 10 years of clinical research, Fosamax has been proven to help reverse bone loss. And Fosamax helps prevent fractures of both the hip and spine. You should not use Fosamax if you have certain disorders of the esophagus, are not able to stand or sit upright for 30 minutes, have severe kidney disease, or low blood calcium. Before use, talk to your doctor if you have stomach or digestive problems. Stop taking Fosamax and call your doctor right away if you develop new or worsening heartburn, difficult or painful swallowing, or chest pain, because these may be signs of serious upper digestive problems.
I'm not putting it off a minute longer.
Talk to your doctor about Fosamax, because bone loss can be reversed.
Scented candles make your home inviting, but they don't disperse scent quickly through the entire room. New scented oil candles from Glade quickly fill the whole room with fragrance. Just light it and the unique warming plate melts the candle into a pool of scented oil that quickly releases fragrance into the air, creating a warm, relaxing atmosphere. And when the oil is gone, the candle goes out. New scented oil candles from Glade quickly fill the whole room with fragrance. S.C. Johnson, a family company.
I thought you liked vegetables.
Oh, I love vegetables. But see that? That's all it takes for me to get gas.
You see that? That's all it takes for me not to get gas.
Broccoli, you've met your match.
Take Beano before, there'll be no gas.
Big news for dry, irritated eyes. Introducing new Clear Eyes for dry eyes. Your dry eyes get moisture that stays in for lasting relief. Wow. New Clear Eyes for dry eyes.
Why go so far as to equip a sedan with a smoother riding double wishbone front suspension, 235 horsepower V6, and electronic stability control? Because instead of cutting corners, we'd rather take them. The all-new highly agile 2006 Sonata, a Hyundai like you've never seen before.
Coming up in just minutes on News Channel 5 at 6, the price at the gas pump has been unbelievable, but there may soon be some relief. We'll tell you why and how soon tonight at 6.
Ford announced one of the largest auto industry recalls in history today. It's sending recall notices to owners of almost 4 million SUVs and pickup trucks, model years 1994 through 2002. The problem? Faulty cruise control switches that may cause engine fires. And finally tonight, back to the hurricane. With the devastation on the Gulf Coast, the internet has been transformed into a web of compassion for many of the victims. Online connections are bringing separated families back together and offering hope to some who had just about lost it. Here's Vince Gonzalez.
After 9/11, families desperate to find loved ones pinned photos on walls near Ground Zero.
The house is floating away.
After Hurricane Katrina, virtual walls went up across the internet. Families posting poignant pleas and photos of the missing, hoping to reach someone who had seen them.
Like this cousin right here, she's missing now.
In South Central Los Angeles, Althea Edwards last heard from her aunt, uncle, and cousin in New Orleans just as the hurricane hit.
The water was already coming into the house, and that was the last we heard from them. Hey, there it is.
So from her living room command post, she launched a cyber rescue mission, posting details about them on the internet. She researched contact numbers for rescue agencies and ordered relatives to keep calling until one of them got through.
It's not a do-nothing time. You have to try to do something.
And what we have to offer is our son's bedroom. What he'll do is we'll have him come stay with us.
James and Annika Hanby also went online, not to ask for help, but to offer it. Like thousands of Americans, they're opening their hearts and homes to the newly homeless.
These people have nothing, and we feel like we have so much.
Even though they're both unemployed with a 2-year-old, they're offering to share their small 2-bedroom apartment.
We're here to help.
They got a quick email response from a California woman trying to relocate relatives from the disaster zone.
So they're doing okay.
And this week, Althea Edwards' prayers and emails were answered.
It's wonderful.
Her family finally got through to the Highway Patrol and directed rescuers to the nearly submerged house. Her relatives were found alive and joined the thousands airlifted to safety. Vince Gonzalez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And that's the news. I'm Bob Schieffer at CBS News in New York. Good
night. For news 24 hours a day, click on CBSNews.com. Brought to you in part by Walmart. Good jobs, good people, great opportunities. Come grow with us at Walmart. Hurricane relief. How generous Americans have been. Tomorrow, experience CBS News.
I'd like to go back, be able to go back and get my things, then bring it back to Nashville, and I'll start over from here.
Victims of Hurricane Katrina evacuated to the volunteer state wonder what they will have to go back to. Now, technology can help them monitor the status of their home from right here in Middle Tennessee.
And up and down they go. Where they'll stop, nobody knows. The price at the pump has been unbearable, but some relief may be in sight.
And the Red Cross desperately needs your help, but it's not in the typical ways. Find out how you can help the hurricane victims. The news is now.
From your news and information leader, winner of the Emmy for News Excellence, this is News Channel 5 at 6.
Get out or we'll take you out. That's the message from New Orleans Mayor Ray Nagin to the 10,000 residents still in the area devastated by Hurricane Katrina.
So far, there have been no reports of any forced evacuations, but Nagin is ordering police and the military to take action. Hundreds of people refuse to leave the waterlogged city. Some don't want to leave their pets. Others don't want to leave their homes. The National Guard says it will help with evacuations, but it